This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, my Rabbi say a few imponderables on Parshas Vayeitzey. We go to the beginning of the Parsha. Number 1. Vayifga ba'makoim. Vayifga ba'makoim. Literally, he met up with the place. He reached the place. Rashi says, Rabbi Seino Pershu Lashon Tefillah. He davened. Now what's ba'makoim? L'chayra then, if vayifka is a lashon of tefillah, ba'makoim refers to Hashem. Doesn't it? Vayifka ba'makoim. If that's the case, shouldn't it say vayifka la'makoim? He davened to Hashem. So you say, well, it can't say that because then the simple meaning of the pasuk would not have any mashma'as, because it has to say he reached the place. It can't say he reached to the place. So then how do you read he davened? He davened. Does ba'makom not mean HaKadosh Baruch Hu then? Does ba'makom mean at the place? Does ba'makom mean at Har HaMoriah? What then would ba'makom mean? So you would have to say that ba'makom, even in this drush of Chazal, ba'makom still does not refer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It means Har HaMoriah. Okay, maybe. Chav Tes Yud. Yaakov Avinu comes to Rachel, and what does he do? He cries. Vayishak Yaakov l'Rachel vayisas koiloi. Says Rashi, why did he cry? Because he had nothing to give her. Could somebody please tell me why Yaakov Avinu is getting hysterical about this? Alright, he has nothing to give her. What could he do? Somebody took his money. That's a reason to cry? I mean, what's he crying about? Is that a reason to cry? What could he do? I mean, he does. It's very nice. This girl is his cousin. He's going to marry her. So why was Yaakov crying that he had nothing to give her? Why was it so important to Yaakov to give Rachel something that he cried that he had nothing to give her? So what? I mean, he knew he was going to marry her. Don't say, well, if he has nothing to give her, he can't marry her. He knew he was going to marry her because he already, according to the first pshat of Rashi, he knew he would marry her and not be buried with her. So he knew the whole story. So he knew he was going to be married. So what's he crying that he has nothing to give? Maybe he should be disappointed. He's not happy about it. But crying? That's a pretty extreme emotion just because he doesn't have anything to give her. Okay. You ready? This is a great one. Perek Lamed Pasuk Yadaled. It says, Vayihi bimei Ketzir hachitim, vayelech Ruvain b'mei ketzir hachitim, vayimtzu duda'im basadeh. Says Rashi, lahagid shvachan shel shvatim. It was the harvest, and they didn't take wheat and barley, but something which is hefker that nobody's makbid about. I don't understand. Oh, look how great the shvatim are. They didn't rob the bank. They took something from hefker. I mean, this is the big shevach of the shvatim. They didn't steal? I was just at the Godo convention. The Mayetzes Gedolei HaTorah, they're so great. They don't rob banks. So we should all look up to them. I mean, there are many nice things we could say, but why is it a great praise that the shvatim didn't rob? And by the way, don't say, this is not even Eretz Yisrael, that you could say that they didn't take land that ultimately would belong to them. They're in Chutz La'aretz over here. Okay. Let's see what else I got. One more. This is actually a ha'ara. In Perek Lamed, Pasuk Lamed Hey, it says that the deal with Yaakov was that he was going to get all the striped and the speckled, but first he removed the striped and the speckled so that nobody should suspect that the striped and speckled animals that are being born were impregnated by the fathers who were striped and speckled. So here's one bomb kasha. In the end of the day, how did Yaakov produce all these striped and speckled animals? The Malachim went and they stole Lavan's white, striped and speckled animals, and they impregnated the females, and they produced animals like them. I don't understand. How is Yaakov allowed to keep that? The Malachim, Yaakov didn't steal. The angels stole. Angels are allowed to steal? I mean, the whole reason why Yaakov removed them is because he didn't want anyone to suspect that the animals being born are from fathers who are striped and speckled. But they were from fathers who were striped and speckled. That's where they were from. So it was Geneva. Angels are allowed to go. I have a question. If I could command an angel, they could go into your house, take your wallet, and bring it to me? Then we should start a new business. Commanding angels to do Gezela. Angels are allowed to steal? It's Geneva Mamish. No, Yaakov Avinu said it wasn't me, it was my henchmen, the angels. But I have an interesting diuk. It says that he removed on that day of the male goats, the striped and the speckled, and all the goats, Nekudas Lois, Kol Asher Lavan Boy. So Rashi says what that means is anything that had a spot of white. But I can't help but read it. Anything that Lavan was in. That somehow the Pashut reading of the Pasuk indicates that Lavan's ideology somehow was imparted into some of these animals. And Yaakov wanted nothing to do with animals that had Lavan in it. Not white, Mr. Lavan. That's what the pasuk says. Koil asher Lavan ba. Yeah, we know it means anything that had a white stripe, but the way the Torah phrases it is Koil asher Lavan ba. Is that just a play on words, or is it somehow Yaakov Avinu sensed that we know that there's a concept that animals are affected by society, and Yaakov Avinu had the spiritual capacity to detect the animals asher Lavan ba. So he said, remove the animals that Lavan is in. Anyway, I just wanted to say hello to you today because I missed you so much. We'll continue, Be'ez Hashem. There'll be the Ian Shiur Sunday morning, and then back to regular schedule coming week. Wishing everyone a wonderful Shabbos, Baruch V'Atzlacha, V'Chol Tov.
Good to see you, Rabbi.
Thank you. Chol Tov, everyone.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.